business purposes. Fido, you know fee pay school fees. Fido, your landlord they just you. Fido, if you need quick money. Fido, for business purposes. Fido, you know fee pay school fees. Fido, your landlord they just you. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Go Play Store, AJ, no guarantee. Download the app, AJ, no collect. Fill the forms, AJ, no guarantee. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Download the app, AJ, no guarantee. Fill the forms, yeah. You go get approval in few minutes, me about 3 hours. Fido. If you need quick money, Fido, for business purposes, Fido, you know fee pay school fees. Fido, your landlord they just you. Fido, if you need quick money, Fido, for business purposes, Fido, you know fee pay school fees. Fido, your landlord they just you. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Go Play Store, AJ, no guarantee. Download the app, AJ, no collect. Fill the forms, AJ, no guarantee. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Download the app, AJ, no guarantee. Fill the forms, yeah. You go get approval in few minutes, me about 3 hours. Fido. If you need quick money, Fido, for business purposes, Fido, you know fee pay school fees. Fido, your landlord they just you. Fido, if you need quick money, Fido, for business purposes, Fido, you know fee pay school fees. Fido, your landlord they just you. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Go Play Store, AJ, no guarantee. Download the app, AJ, no collect. Fill the forms, AJ, no guarantee. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Download the app, AJ, no guarantee. Fill the forms, yeah. You go get approval in few minutes, me about 3 hours. Fido. If you need quick money, Fido, for business purposes, Fido, you know fee pay school fees. Fido, your landlord they just you. Fido, if you need quick money, Fido, for business purposes, Fido, you know fee pay school fees. Fido, your landlord they just you. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Go Play Store, AJ, no guarantee. Download the app, AJ, no collect. Fill the forms, AJ, no guarantee. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Download the app, AJ, no guarantee. Fill the forms, yeah. You go get approval in few minutes, me about 3 hours. Fido. If you need quick money, Fido, for business purposes, Fido, you know fee pay school fees. Your landlord, they just you. If you need quick money, for business purposes, you know fee pay school fees. Your landlord, they just you. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Go Play Store, AJ, no garant. Download the app, AJ, no collect. Fill the forms, AJ, no garant. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Download the app, AJ, no garant. Fill the forms, yeah. You go get approval in few minutes, me about 3 hours. Fido. If you need quick money, for business purposes, you know fee pay school fees. Your landlord, they just you. If you need quick money, for business purposes, you know fee pay school fees. Your landlord, they just you. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Go Play Store, AJ, no garant. Download the app, AJ, no collect. Fill the forms, AJ, no garant. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Download the app, AJ, no garant. Fill the forms, yeah. You go get approval in few minutes, me about 3 hours. Fido. If you need quick money, for business purposes, you know fee pay school fees. Your landlord, they just you. If you need quick money, for business purposes, you know fee pay school fees. Your landlord, they just you. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Fido, connect to cash. Get your instant.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's Fido Facebook Live. We are happy to have you here, and as promised, today we have something new for you. We want to introduce you to the new in-app repayment feature. So to pay your loan, you can just do it right through your phone. And this will be explained further by our Deputy General Manager in the person of Sebastian. So again, we are happy to have you here, and as we wait for more people to join, kindly put your questions in the comment section. So if you have any question pertaining to this new feature, we are open to it. And also, if you have any general question, feel free and then put it there, and Sebastian is ready to answer all your questions. And if you don't have any question too, no problem. Just do your regular check-in. Tell us where you are watching us from, and we'll be happy to know that we have people watching from all over Ghana. So thank you, and we'll have this short video. Right after the video, Sebastian will be here to walk you through this new in-app repayment process.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on our first Fido live session. And this session brings you a very important update, which is an update to our repayment procedure. Um, Checking online, we can already see, I see Kwame Simon from Nkofo. Hi, Simon. Also, Martin. I believe that's Martin, right? Martin, thank you for your comments and also for joining us. I should begin the session very shortly. It should be a very short session and very straightforward session. Kojo Abing, I see you asking that you need a loan. We'll basically address how to get a loan later in the session. Um, okay, so to begin with, my name is Sebastian Kwanzaa. As my colleague, the marketing manager, rightly introduced, I'm the deputy general manager of Fido Microcredit. And my job today is pretty simple to basically walk you through a new feature that we have introduced in the mobile app. This is basically to help our cherished customers to repay their loans very simply and easily with very little funds as possible. And so this is what I'll be walking you through today. We can already see a few people online. Okay, so to begin with, I'll start with a very short video that we have already to demo how this feature works. It's about a 5-minute video, pretty easy and straightforward. So I'll just jump into the video now, and then we'll take your questions thereafter and try and address as many questions as possible before the session ends. So the first process to repaying via the new procedure that we have introduced is obviously to log into the mobile app. And for our existing customers, logging into the mobile app involves first opening the mobile app, and then at the very top left right corner, you can find the login button, a white button at the top right corner. When you press the login button, it gives you now the option to enter your credentials to log in. Pretty simple and straightforward. Your last name. My last name is Kwanzaa, so I input my last name, Kwanzaa, and then I choose the ID that I use to apply for the loan. In my case, it's a national health insurance. And then I input my ID number. And this is basically how you log into the app very simply. Then I press continue. Now for my account has been secured. I have a 4-digit PIN that I have set on my accounts, and like every customer is basically advised to do this as it helps secure your account from unlawful entry and login. And be mindful that this PIN is different from your mobile money wallet PIN. So this is basically a PIN that you have set only on the Fido app, so that you are the only one that can log into your account to check your details and to take a loan. So since I have a PIN on my account, I would have to enter the PIN in order to log into the Fido app. So I will enter my PIN now, and then I'll press continue. And this is basically sends me to the main page of the app, which is the dashboard, and this completes the login process. So obviously the first and probably the simplest process to log in is now completed. Now the second step is basically right after you log in to select the make a payment button. So you select this button and then follow very simple prompts to complete the payment procedure. I will also add that this payment procedure currently works with MTN only. We are in the works to add all other payment channels to this, but for the purpose of what has been rolled out now, it only works with MTN repayments. So once you log into the main dashboard, as you can already see now, you can find the Make a Payment button at the very top in blue. And right below that, you can see the dashboard. The dashboard is a very important and relevant part of the mobile app, as this shows you your repayment schedule. So in my case, I have an amount of 218.77 Ghana cedis to repay, and this is due on May 12th, which I believe is today. Right below that as well, you can also find your loan history. And in this loan history, you would see the loans that you have taken with Fido and the dates that you borrowed them and the status of these loans. So once you actually finish repaying your loans, you can basically log back into the app, and the most recent loan that you have repaid will now also add on to your loan history. And this is one way you can confirm that your repayment has worked successfully. So I select Make a Payment button, and I'm presented with a few options up front. So first is the MTN mobile money option, followed by Airtel Tigo money, and then other. As I previously mentioned, currently the in-app repayment has been rolled out for MTN mobile money only. We are due to roll out Airtel Tigo very soon in the future, and we will update you when this is also done. But at the moment, if you select Airtel Tigo money or other, you have the option to repay your loan via the repayment processes that you are already used to. For MTN, for Airtel Tigo, I think we've pinned the repayment instructions in the comments. For Airtel Tigo, you dial *110# and then you follow the prompts. And so I will choose other now and then just show you how it redirects you to the repayment instructions where you can follow it manually to repay your loan successfully. So I'll go ahead and choose other, and as you can see, it now shows you the repayment instructions. So in the event that you are trying to repay via any method other than MTN, or you're trying to repay from a different mobile money wallet. Additionally, I would also say that this method only works if you are trying to repay from the same wallet that you received the money. So basically, the way this feature works is that you would get a prompt on your mobile money wallet. And so currently, it will only work with the wallet that we already know and we recognize. This is the only wallet that will trigger the option for you to repay. If you, for instance, have a different wallet that you want to repay, you can actually follow these instructions. For MTN, you dial the 170# and follow the general payments. And then for Airtel Tigo, you dial the *50#. So I'll go back, select Make a Payment again, and then this time I'll choose MTN mobile money. And so as you can see here at the very top in the blue background, you are presented with your repayment schedule again, just as we saw in the previous screen. And just below that, you get asked the question, how much are you repaying? And you are presented with two options. Now, the first option is to pay off the full balance. And it basically tells you how much you actually have to pay in order that the whole loan will be paid off. And then the second option is other. Other is also one way that we implemented this feature, such that if you had part of the money available before your due date, you could still go in there and repay. So for instance, I could select other and I have 215.95, but if I wanted to pay, say, 100 cedis now, I could select other, and then I'll be presented with an option to input exactly how much I wanted to pay. And you can see that I've input in 100, and I could continue from here with the process. But for the purpose of this illustration, I'll go back and choose paying off full balance because this is what I want to do. So when I select paying off full balance, right below that, you see the instruction that says you receive a bill pay prompt on this number. And so you'd have to be also wary that this is the number that you get the prompt on. One other thing that you also need to be sure is that you make sure that you have enough money in your wallet. So whatever amount that is showing here, in my case, paying off full balance, I need to make sure that I already have enough money in my wallet. Otherwise, I will not get the prompt to basically authorize the payment for it to go through. So this is very, very important. Always make sure that you have enough balance in your wallet before you initiate this process. So once you are certain that you have enough money and you choose this option, you can basically click continue below, and then you are presented with the screen. So this basically tells you what to expect once you've initiated the repayment process in the app. So it tells you that you receive a request for payment shortly on your device, which is your mobile phone, provided that you have the SIM card that you use to receive the loan on it. And once this is completed as well, you should also expect an SMS message confirming that your payment has been successful. In the event that you don't get this SMS confirmation, or you check in the app and your payment has not been reconciled, do make sure that you contact us within one business day. But for this particular repayment process, it's very efficient. The chances of making an error or not paying correctly are very, very minimal. And so you don't expect that you should have such challenges. This is the very reason for which we have rolled out this feature based on the feedback and comments that we have received from you, our cherished customers. And so this particular feature has very, very minimal chances of error. It's easier, it's faster. And as you can see, you were not asked to enter any client ID or any payment code. It's just pretty simple. Just press the button, enter the amount that you want to repay, and then complete the instruction by continuing. So once this is done, the third stage of proceeding with the instruction is to now authorize payments. So you basically initiated the repayment process from the app. And so in the next stage, you'll be presented with a pop-up notification on your phone that typical to when you are doing mobile money transactions, where you are required to enter your mobile money PIN to continue. So I read this and I see that yes, I initiated this transaction, and so I put in my mobile money PIN, and then I press send to confirm. I'm asked to approve this transaction by choosing yes or no. I enter one for yes, and then I send. And then just in an instant, you can already see that I have a confirmation repayment on my screen. And this is basically completes the new repayment process that we have now introduced. So we are very hopeful that this will basically reduce the burden and the issues regarding difficulties in repayment, make it much, much easier than previously it was. So once this has been completed, you now have basically the last stage is to expect a confirmation SMS message on your phone, the same phone that you initiated the payment from. So this message is very important. It basically validates that everything that you went through, every instruction that you initiated went through successfully. And you can confirm this from two SMS messages that you would receive. The first one is that you receive an SMS from MTN. This is typical a payment confirmation for initiating a transaction. In my case, I say yes, I have the MTN instruction. I select on that, and MTN would now show me the payment instruction. And this payment instruction would have the transaction ID. So besides confirming the amount that has been paid, you would also have the transaction ID. And the transaction ID is very important in the event that there was a challenge with reconciliation or you need to follow up on payment amounts. The transaction ID is usually your reference point. And so once you are done with this, you make sure that you keep the transaction ID, and you can only delete this only after you've confirmed in the app that your payment has actually reflected. So this is the first SMS that you would receive. So once you receive this SMS, there's also another SMS that you receive from Fido. So basically, MTN deducts the money from your wallet and then it sends the money to Fido on our system. So our system will also be able to receive this money, find your account, and then basically pay off your account or reduce the balance on your account. And so once we have actually received this money successfully, Fido should also send you another SMS. And as you can see in my SMS inbox, hello Sebastian, your loan has been fully repaid. And so these two SMSs are basically what confirms that your repayment basically went through successfully and glitch free. And this is basically what this new repayment instruction seeks to bring. So it seeks to be easy, convenient, and reduces the chances that you make a wrong payment to like the barest minimum, such that we don't really, as a customer, you don't really have to worry about whether your payment went through or not, whether there were any challenges in receiving the money. This is basically very simple, convenient, and very intuitive, easy to follow. So once you have this confirmation message, this basically sums up the repayment instruction. Pretty simple, right? So just go into the app, select the make a payment button, enter the amount that you want, and then approve the transaction, and then wait for the SMS that confirms. Now, once I have finished making the payments in my app, what I'll do now is to log back in the app. Just as I logged in, I want to check to be sure that the app has reflected the payment that I have made. And so I log in again using the same credentials, enter my PIN, and then voila. So you can see that previously the button read make a payment because the app knew that I had a loan that was active. But once the payment was successful, you can now see in the loan history that the last payment will now update in the loan history. And now the button now says get a new loan because the app has been smart enough to see that my payment has been made and therefore it's now giving me the opportunity to take another loan. And this is how you can definitely confirm that your repayment process was glitch free and there was no issues whatsoever. So you can always go into the app to get a new loan, to check on the updates of your payment schedule, as well as now initiate the process to repay your loan. So pretty easy. This is basically the new in-app repayment feature that Fido has introduced to serve our cherished customers and to make your life very easy. So we'll quickly, after this, start to take some of your questions that you have. We'll quickly switch to take some of your questions that you have basically given us. We already received some questions earlier. We'll also be picking up some questions from the comments and then we'll address them as the feed goes on. So my colleague Alice here will be on the lookout for your questions and whatever feedback you're providing us. And as and when she raises them, I will be providing answers as we go along.
Okay, thank you so much, Sebastian. This was a wonderful presentation, and we are happy you've walked us through the process for us to repay our loans through the Fido app. So, guys, I guess everybody can do this now. You can pay through the app or still use the old ways of doing it, which is through MTN or through SLT.
Yes, this is very important. The old ways of repaying have not stopped. They continue to work. You can still use the star 170 hash for MTN, star 110 hash for SLT. But this is to add on to that to make it give you another option of repaying. And we are hopeful that this is actually much simpler, much easier, and less chances that you will make an error when you repay.
Okay, so I think we have the first question from one Kojo Obeng Ayepa. So Kojo Obeng Ayepa, we see you, and your question is, please, I need a loan.
This is a pretty easy and straightforward one. So as most of you would know, Kojo, to get a loan from Fido is basically very three simple, straightforward processes. First, you need the app because you need the Fido app because our product is an app-based loan. So you go to the Google Play Store, you search for Fido Credit, you find the mobile app. with our logo, orange with a black star, and a blue icon in the middle. You download this app, fill in your credentials. We ask very basic, simple, straightforward questions, your name, date of birth. You fill up all of these. If you get asked further questions to validate your KYC, you go ahead and do this as well. And then you submit the application, and almost instantly, you should get a feedback, which is a credit decision. And if your loan is approved, within minutes, you should be able to receive the money in the wallet that you provided us whilst applying. So it's basically go to the Play Store, download the app, fill in your credentials, and then submit, and then wait for feedback from the mobile app. The mobile app is basically a self-service, so it should guide you through every step of the way. Thank you, Kojo, for your question.
Yes, and just to add a little, our app is only on Android for now. So you need to have an Android phone to go to the Google Play Store before you can download. And please take note of this. Make sure that you use an ID card which is in your own name. If you are called Alima 2, don't say Alima. Make sure it is Alima 2 you put in there. Put in your own Momo number. Don't use your husband or your wife or your girlfriend's um, number. Please use yours. And these are some of the things we look at to approve your loan. Um, the next question for you, Sebastian,
Yes.
is from one Peace Delali Boafo. And she says, since last year, you've refused her loan. How true is that?
Peace. I hear your question, and I'm sorry to hear about your case. But I'll add that whilst we make an effort to give loans to as many people as possible, and I think to date we've given loans to millions of customers, unfortunately, not everyone gets approved because every approval has to go through a loan approval process. So you basically have to apply, try to provide as honest information as possible. And like my colleague Alice mentioned, make sure that your credentials are right. So your ID should have your correct name. It should have your correct date of birth. Again, the mobile money wallet you are using should also be registered in your name, and the name on it should be correct. If for any reason your mobile money wallet name is not correct, do make it an effort to go to the telco shop, be it MTN, Ethiotigo, have it corrected before you actually apply, because we do check this to be sure that they pass or they are validated before we approve loans. So these are some of the reasons for which some loans may not be approved. But again, I must say that our credit decisions are not unchangeable. They do change over time. And so we usually encourage people to try again, usually after a month, because our system is continually learning and continually finding ways by which we can validate as many people as possible so that they can get the loan. So I assure you, we are very eager to give you the loan, but you still need to meet some requirements in order to get it. So thank you, Peace, for your question.
Thank you, Sebastian, for that. We have one more question from Kwame Simon. Kwame Simon is saying that it's time you reward your loyal customers, and he thinks it's a good way to boost your market.
I agree, Kwame. So we'll do more. We'll do more to reward our customers. I think based on how our app basically works now, loyal customers that keep coming up back and rising up the loan ladder, we actually charge them a lower interest rate. This is one way that we try to reward the loyalty and try to reduce the burden of customers. But most certainly, your feedback is in order, and we'll try and do something about it.
Okay. So the same Kwame asked up to say that you should start giving huge loan amounts.
Huge loan amounts. I'm sure everyone wants that. You want that. I want that as well. We're actually working on this, and most people who have journeyed with us from the day that we've started will know that we actually increase our loan amounts over time as we review it. And I can say that very shortly, you should start seeing an increment in the amount that we give. So this is actually a feedback that we have received many times from most of our customers, and we've already started working on this. So I'm sure that very shortly, just continue to pay your loans on time so that when this becomes eligible, you are first in line to receive it as well.
Okay. Thank you, Sebastian, for that. We have one compliment from Martin Larry. And Martin is saying that it's all about your integrity and not defaulting in your repayment. And that for him, he knows Fido is reliable, fast, and convenient. And at the comfort of your home, you can access up to 2,000 CDs. That's what he says.
Sure.
And with your integrity, you'll be able to get the loan. So basically, that is what Martin is saying.
Thank you, Martin, for your compliments. We appreciate your journey with us and for choosing us as your service provider.
Okay. Henrietta is actually giving you some funds. It says, go you, the Deputy General Manager.
Yeah,
and
Henrietta is one of our very, very loyal customers. Started with us from day one till now. And I'm sure she'll be in line for a reward as quickly as we start rewarding our returning customers. She's certainly deserving of it.
Okay. And she asked us to say that you mentioned about 4-digit PIN. What if she doesn't have 4-digit PIN? Does that mean she cannot use this new in-app repayment feature you just spoke about?
No, actually, you can actually still use this feature if you don't have the PIN on it. So it's basically the same process that you log into the app currently. So if you haven't set a PIN on your account, it will not ask you for a PIN. But if you have set a PIN on your account, then it will ask you before you proceed. But we strongly recommend that you have a PIN on your account because this is like a transaction and it's something that is personal to you. And so we would usually advise that you set up a PIN on your account so that it's secure. If you put your phone down, somebody, a relative, a friend cannot go into the app and try and access information. Even if it's not take a loan, you don't want people accessing your personal information in the app. Because on our side, we take very stringent precautions to make sure that we don't expose customers' data. And so you also have a responsibility to also protect your own data by setting a PIN on it. So it's very highly recommended, although it's not a must or a requirement.
Okay. Henrietta comes back to say that she's still not getting it, and so
Okay.
can she come to the Joldo branch for further explanation?
Sure, it's a very easy process. I'll probably go over it again before we end. But if after that you still don't understand it, sure, you are welcome to visit our branch. You could call our numbers and raise a ticket. Our able reps will call you back. As well, you can send us an email and we'll be glad to provide you additional information on this.
Okay. Captain Bra Eden also says this is very easy.
Thanks, Captain. I agree.
And Priscilla says very educative. Thank you for the update.
Thank you, Priscilla. We also appreciate the time you've taken to join us.
Okay. Faoud GH says, I can't access from my iPhone. How do you help him?
Yes, Faoud, I agree. Currently, the Fido app is not available on iOS. It is an Android-only application, but I think that we've received a lot of suggestions and feedback to spread it, and we'll consider this. It's already on the table. We are looking at options by which we can extend availability and provide it to several channels, but we should keep this in consideration, and I'm sure hopefully you have a chance to do so. But for now, it's an Android only app. I'm sorry.
So I think if she has an Android app, she can just try it. I'm sure in Ghana, most people have 2 phones.
Yes,
so
most
if you
people
have
have.
a small Android phone, why not? Please log into our app and then apply for the loan. The last comment I see here is from Muni. Muni says that, can you increase the duration of your payments?
So the way the Fido app works is you are given the liberty to choose the duration of your repayment. You get to choose between 10 days and 30 days. And if you are eligible for installments, we have up to 2 installments and 3 installment loans. But once you choose this installment option or whichever date you would like to repay, you cannot extend it thereafter. So this is why we give customers the flexibility. It's usually a better option to choose a date that is further and pay earlier, because if you pay earlier, you still pay the balance that is due as at the day you are paying. So you don't get penalized or have to pay any extra interest if you are paid early, especially for returning customers. So I would encourage that you put in some effort into choosing your repayment date. But once this is done and the loan is approved, unfortunately, we do not change the repayment schedule thereafter.
Okay. So Sebastian, I think we've exhausted these questions.
Okay.
We'd like to take a quick break. We'll come back and then exhaust any other question that that comes up.
Fido, Fido, Fido. If you need quick money, Fido, for business purposes, Fido, you know fee pay school fee, Fido, your landlord they just you, Fido. If you need quick money, Fido, for business purposes, Fido, you know fee pay school fee, Fido, your landlord they just you, Fido, Fido, connect to cash, get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Fido, Fido, connect to cash, get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Go Play Store, AJ, no garant. Download the app, AJ, no collect. Fill the forms, AJ, no garant. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Download the app, AJ, no garant. Fill the forms, yeah. You go get approval in few minutes, me abu try. Fido, Fido, Fido. If you need quick money, Fido, for business purposes, Fido, you know fee pay school fee, Fido, your landlord they just you, Fido. If you need quick money, Fido, for business purposes, Fido, you know fee pay school fee, Fido, your landlord they just you, Fido, Fido, connect to cash, get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Fido, Fido, connect to cash, get your instant loan. I say get your instant loan from your phone. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Go Play Store, AJ, no garant. Download the app, AJ, no collect. Fill the forms, AJ, no garant. Take your phone, AJ, no collect. Download the app, AJ, no garant. Fill the forms, yeah. You go get approval in few minutes, me abu try.
Okay, so we are back now. We received a few questions that were asked prior to this Facebook Live. So we'll go over them and try and answer some of these questions. And then thereafter, we'll visit the comments again for any new questions that have come up. So Alice.
Okay. So the first one is that since this is a new feature, must you update the Fido app before you can have access to this feature?
Yes, you must be on the latest updates. Obviously, because it's a new feature, you would have to make sure that you're not using an old version of the app. Over time, when you would have updated your app several times, this will probably become the norm, and you probably wouldn't have to update as much. But if you log in and you certainly don't see the button, then it means that you've not updated your app to the latest version. So the latest version is required to be able to use this feature. Just go to the Play Store, find the Fido app, and then you find an update button next to it. You press update, and then voila, you have the latest version, and you can benefit from this simplified repayment procedure.
Okay. The next is, what if I don't have the app and I owe? Can I still repay my loan?
Surely, you can always repay your loan via the current repayment methods that you know. These are very much available in the app on our website. Even with the SMSs that we send you, we'll continue to give you this option. But obviously, paying in the app is actually much simplified and easier. But for any reason, you cannot pay through the app. For instance, you lost your SIM card, and so you don't have the same SIM that you took the loan on, you can always use the other payment instructions. 170 hash on MTN, general payments, and then for Airtel Tigo, you can follow the star 110 hash. So these payments will not stop working. They will continue to work as they've always worked. This is just something we are adding on to make it easier for our cherished customers.
Okay, the next question is, Sebastian, you mentioned that this feature is only available for people with MTN wallet. What about Airtel Tigo and any other network? How do they repay?
Yes, so Airtel Tigo guys, I'm sure you are next. We'll be adding Airtel Tigo very soon. But for now, You can continue to pay as you pay currently, which is the enter to go repayment instructions. It's actually pinned in the comments of this live session, so you can just go into the comments and you find it in there. And it's basically the same repayment instruction that you know. It's on our website. It's in the Fido app itself. If you go to the help section of the app, and so this instruction continues to work. And as quickly as we are able to add Ethel to the in-app repayment instructions, we shall notify all our Ethel customers so they can also benefit from it.
Okay. Thank you, Sebastian. And the next question is, can I enter my own amount? Let's say I'm owing 240, but currently what I have is, let's say, 140. Can I still pay?
Most certainly you can repay. And as in the demo that I did, some of you can revisit it. When you select the make a payment button in the app, you are basically presented with two options. The first option is that you repay the full balance of your loan. And this basically the app automatically calculates how much you are due to repay as of today. And then you pay the full amount. And then right below it, there's another option for other. And once you choose other, you have the option to enter the actual amount that you want to repay. Any amount that you want to repay, 100 cedis, 50 cedis, you can repay, and you can repay as many times as possible, so long as by your due date, you make sure that you repay the full amount that is required. So this is clearly has been factored in this new repayment instruction.
Just to add a little, though we encourage you to pay whatever amount you have, please note that by your due date, you should have finished paying.
Most certainly.
If not, the chances of you getting another loan may be limited or may be unavailable. So if you want to keep getting loans from Fido,
and higher loans as well, you should make sure that you are always paying on time so that you can benefit from the improved offers and the higher loan amounts that we offer now and what we are actually cooking up for you in the very near future.
Okay. The next question is that if I follow through all this process, how do I know the money has been taken from my wallet?
Yes, so first of all, I mentioned that you would get payment notification from MTN, transaction notification from MTN that basically tells you that the money has been debited from your account. This same SMS message will have a transaction ID. So if you think that there was something off about your payment, usually as well know, the transaction ID is a reference point. So the SMS would confirm. Once Fido also receives the money, we'll also send you another SMS. So in the event that you miss one of the SMSs, I'm sure you'll at least receive the other. And so any one of these SMS will confirm to you that money has left your wallet. And you can always check the balance on your wallet after you've done a transaction if you are still unsure about whether or not the payment has been completed.
Okay, thank you. The next question is that, can I do this for a friend? Can I repay to the in-app feature for a friend?
Unfortunately, no. It's not something that you can do and not something that we really advise because the in-app repayments feature will basically prompt the user on their own mobile money wallet, and they would have to basically enter their own PIN. And we don't encourage users sharing their PIN codes with friends or family. And so this option is not something that you will be able to use for a friend. If a friend needs assistance, of course, you can educate them. Obviously, having benefited from this session, and if you also understand it very well, you can always educate your friend because it's a pretty easy and straightforward method. But no, you cannot do it for a friend.
Then the last question here is, in case my main number is different from my wallet number, which of these numbers will the payment be done from?
Okay, I think this is a very interesting and very good question. Some customers have a different phone number as their main phone number, and there's also a different number that they use to receive the loan, which is the wallet number. So because we send the money onto your wallet number, whatever you provided as your MTN number that you receive the loan on, it is the same wallet number that will trigger the SMS transaction. So for instance, in a future loan, if you decide that, okay, you have for one reason or the other, you have a problem with one wallet, and so you want to change it to another, that is the very one that you get the prompt on. So the repayment is done on the mobile money wallet you provided and not your contact number. So there's a distinction between the two. For most people, it's the same, but for few people who, for one reason or the other, choose to have two different numbers, we will initiate this on your transaction on your mobile money wallet, not on your contact number.
Okay, So now we are back on the Facebook Live questions. And please, if you still have any questions, put it there.
Yes, let the
Currently,
questions come.
we have some few, and people have been wanting to speak to Fido, so this is a good opportunity
Yes,
to ask
yeah.
all your questions. And our deputy GM is here, big man. He'll
We'll
solve
try
all
to
your
do this
questions.
a bit more often. So
Okay.
for now, let the questions come. We'll try our best to answer as many of them as possible
Okay.
before we check
So,
out.
Eric Flynn Lester says that what is the duration and the minimum amount for a loan?
Okay, so for Fido loans, for the very first loan that you start with, you basically can take a loan between 50 cities and 200 cities. This is the loan amount that we offer for the very first time. And the duration is also between 10 days and 33 days. For our loans, you have the benefit of paying your interest on a daily. It's calculated daily. So if you, for instance, need a loan for just 10 days, you pay interest for only those 10 days. So you can choose between 50 and 200 cities as the loan amount, and between 10 and 33 days as the loan term. Now, as you continue to pay your loans on time, you find that the offer that you are given varies. Suddenly, you may have up to 2 months to repay your loan, or even up to 3 months if you are eligible for a higher amount. And as you continue to pay your loan and pay it on time, which is very important, always make sure that you pay your loans on time. You will become eligible for a higher loan amount. It's a must. It's not even, there's no criteria to it. If you pay your loan on time, you are 100% guaranteeing that you will continue to get a higher loan amount. But for the initial offer, you start at a maximum of 200 and a maximum of 33 days for the loan period of repayment. But mind you, the app is very intuitive. All of this is in the app. Once you log in the app, you get to see all of these before you actually even start filling your information. So you do not have to worry about starting the process and maybe not being too sure. Just go into the app, download the app, go into the app. The very first um, page that you bypass in the app, you find what we call the loan calculator. You can vary how much you want, how many days you want to pay. You'll see the exact amount that you'll be repaying and the interest rates before you can actually even commit to fill in the form. So it's very intuitive and it's very transparent. So what was its name again? Eliplim. Yes, Eliplim. I encourage you to go into the app, and all of the information is there for you to review before you proceed.
Okay. Pearl is asking about what you mean when you say 2 installments. Can you explain further installment payments?
So for loan repayments, we have what we call installment payments. Now, installment payments basically means that you take a loan amount, and then when you are due to repay, you decide that you want to split the loan amount into several tranches, which we call installments, or you want to split it into three, where you are going to pay one in the very month after you took the loan. A month after you repay the second installment, and if you're eligible for 3 installments, you will pay the third payment in 3 months' time. So basically, how it works is if you were eligible for a loan of 1,000 cities and you decided that okay, I don't want to pay all that 1,000 in a go within 1 month, but can you please spread this amount for me? You will choose the installment option. If you choose 3 installments, we will take that amount that you've applied for plus the interest, and then we split it over the next 3 months. So we'll tell you that in the next month you will pay say 300 cities or 350 cities. The next month you pay the same amount, and the third month you pay the same amount again. Then you will now have completed your loan repayment. So this is how installment works. It does not mean that you'll be paying all of the amounts at the end of the 3 months. What it does mean is that you'll be repaying it in bits spread over those 3 months. Each month you will pay one bit of it. The next month you pay another bit. The third month you pay another bit. This is what we've introduced to make ease the repayments on people that for some reason or the other don't find it convenient to pay their loans all together as one.
Okay, so John is saying that how do you use the in-app feature to pay back the loan? So basically, this is what we are actually
trying to
trying to
explain.
explain. And so maybe if you can go back later to explain, I think you'll be happy. And I think
Sure.
one other person of John also said, can we go over? You have two people asking.
Okay. I'll certainly go over it before we check out, so do stay tuned. Once we are done taking the questions, I'll go over it again, a very simplified process.
Okay.
for MTN customers to repay.
And one of he just says we've not read his question, but I think it's because we answered it earlier, but he
From my
insisted.
phone.
So he says, please increase the loan amount for us.
Yes, so the loan amount increment is actually in the works. And so, like I mentioned in my answer to the other person that asked, we'll urge you to continue to be diligent in repaying your loan. Make sure you continue to pay your loan on time. And very soon, the amount will be increased. And so long as you continue to pay on time, when this option becomes available, you'll be in line to benefit from it as well. So we are left with a few small um, tasks to complete, and then we should be rolling out increments.
Okay. I think the last question is from Welbeck. He's talking about interest. He's saying, can you do something to reduce the interest for him?
Okay. Okay, well, Robert, I think your feedback is well noted. I think currently for our returning customers, we try as much as possible to reduce the interest rates as you go up. But I agree, lower is better. And so this feedback will be taken in good faith, and we'll see what we can do about this. So certainly will be escalated in the right forum, and we shall discuss it and see. And for most people, we've reviewed the interest rate a bit, so it's not something that we cannot do. As and when we find this feasible, we are even more than willing to reduce it for the customers that are actually paying on time and have shown good credit history with us.
Okay, so Sebastian, I think everything has been covered
You had
here.
another
So
question, Celia?
yes, if you can just go over
Go
one
over
more
the.
time, and we call it a day.
Okay. So I'm going to go over the repayment instructions once again. So there are basically 4 key steps. The first step being that you have to log into the Fido mobile app. For most returning customers, you already know how to do this. So you log in the Fido app. You log in the Fido app by pressing the login button on the top right corner. Once you press this login button, you'll be presented with the opportunity to enter your last name, the ID that you used to apply for the loan, because you would have already received the loan. In my case, my last name is Kwanzaa, so I input my last name Kwanzaa. I choose the ID, National Health Insurance. This is what I use for my loan. And then I enter my ID number, and then I press continue, and this will attempt to log me in. In my case, I have a PIN on my Fido account, something that we strongly encourage. So I'll be required to enter my PIN. It's a 4-digit PIN, and this is different from your mobile money PIN. This is a PIN that you set yourself on the Fido app. So once I enter the PIN, I will be now allowed to log in the app. So I enter my PIN now, and voila, I'm logged in. So this is basically the first stage. First stage is log in the Fido app. Now the second stage is once you've logged in, you'll see a button, make a payment button. This is located right at the top and blue. And in my case, on my dashboard now, you can see that the button says make a payment, and below it, I get a brief schedule of how much I'm due to repay. In my case, I'm to pay 218.77 cedis on May 12th, and below that is my loan history. So if I selected make a payment button, this is how I will start the new process of repayment. So let me go ahead and select make a payment. Okay, so I select make a payment, and in here I'm now presented with 3 options. The first option is MTN mobile money payments, and I already mentioned that currently we've implemented this for MTN mobile money only. So if, for instance, you selected Authorize or other, you'll be sent to a different page where we show you the instructions to pay via your mobile phone shortcode. So if I choose other, for MTN, I can dial 170 hash. This is basically the old repayment instructions that you're already used to. It's on our website, it's on the mobile app, and we send it to you via SMSs. So for Authorize and for other forms of payment, you'd have to use this. If I come back and select it again, and then I choose MTN mobile money repayment, this is basically what we are illustrating today. I get presented with two options. The first one is to pay off my full balance. Basically, I want to pay everything. And if I choose that, the app would also show me how much I'm due to repay. In my case, I'm paying 215.95 because I'm paying a bit earlier. And so you find that this amount is slightly reduced from what's on the dashboard. And if I choose other, and I think someone asked this question, how to pay parts. If you choose other, you get an option to enter the actual amount. I've entered in here 100 cedis. And if I press continue, I will follow the prompts to repay the 100 cedis. If you could input in 50 cedis, whatever amount that you want. So I'll come back and I'll pay off the full balance of my loan because this is what I want to do. And below that, you'll see the message that says you receive a bill pay prompt on this number. And so the number below there is basically what you'll be receiving the prompt on. And this is actually the same number that you would have received the loan on. So once I complete this, I get a brief description telling you that you will receive a request for payment shortly on your device. And once it is completed, you will receive a confirmation message on SMS message. So very quickly now, you've basically initiated the payment in the mobile app. What is left now in the next stage is to wait for the SMS prompt. And this is the third stage. So the third stage is you wait for the prompts on your phone to authorize the payment. It should come almost instantly after you initiate it in the app. And this is typical of mobile money payments. Nothing really different or unusual. So in my case, I get a prompt. I will enter my mobile money PIN in the field. And then I'll proceed to press send to basically authorize the payment to go through. I have to approve the transaction again. I'll choose one for yes and then send. And that's it. Pretty easy. I get a confirmation message on the screen saying that the payment has been completed. So to sum it up, you go into the app, you log in, you press the make a payment button. You'll be presented with two options. You'll be presented with two options. If you want to pay the full amount, you choose pay full balance. If you want to pay parts, you choose parts, and then you initiate the payment. And almost instantly, you get a pop-up on your phone that has the same SIM card that you received the money on. You will enter your mobile money PIN, and then you will authorize this, and then you can basically go ahead to approve your transaction. And that's about it. As a last step, is step 4. You will always receive an SMS confirmation. 2 SMSs actually. So you would receive 2 SMSs, one from MTN confirming that the money has left your wallet, and as you can see here, it says mobile money payment for Ghana Cedis 215 received, and this SMS will also have your transaction ID. And we highly recommend that you do not delete this message until you've confirmed that the payment has reflected in the app. So you receive this message on your phone. This is the first SMS that you receive. And then once the money hits Fido systems, we will also send you another message telling you that, hey, the money that left your wallet has actually hit our systems. We received it, and we'll confirm how much you paid. And this is basically the second confirmation. So if for any reason there's even a problem with SMSs and you don't get the MTN one, you should at least get the Fido one. And so Fido will also send you an SMS, and this is the one that I received. It says, hello Sebastian, your loan has been fully repaid. And it also urges me to help others by telling them about Fido. And I'm also telling you as well, you should also tell others about Fido. Share the word.
No college, go Play Store. No garant. Download the app. No college. Fill the forms. No garant. Take your phone. No college. Download the app. No garant. Fill the forms. Yeah. You go get approval in few minutes. Me abutre why.